walk like lions. Hey, good morning, folks. Chappy coming to you live from Prescott, Arizona on this Friday morning. Hey, good to see you out there. Folks, a little story back from Iraq. I remember the particular night that the squadron was moving to capture a bridge over the Euphrates River. And it was quite the night. It was like 8 hours of movement to contact, to contact, to contact. I was wedged in between some Bradleys, few M1s behind me, and really having no substantial weapon systems on my little Chaplin Humvee. I was just kind of along for the ride. I remember watching the battle and also listening to the battle on our little radio. Now, I had two options. I could listen to the administration net, and that was kind of like simply, hey, Bob, move this water over to here, or hey, move this asset over to here. Really not the most exciting radio net to be listening to during a fight. So I switched over to the command net. Now that's where the action was. And that's where on the net, as I'm watching this battle take place in front of me for this bridge, and, well, I was in it, but our commander, the squadron commander, Colonel Terry Farrell, now General Farrell, he's the top general in the United States Army. Just keep your eyes open for him. He was guiding the battle here, and it was like listening to a conductor, put forth a beautiful symphony. It was beautiful as you're listening to each and every little play unfold. I mean, there were times he was talking to specific Bradley fighting vehicles that were moving into position to take out the enemy. There were times that would switch over to the A-10s that were flying support for us, and you would just hear him. And his classic term that he always used with us was "sweetheart," and you could hear him on the radio, and it was just like he'd be talking to the A-10 pilot, and he'd say, "All right, sweetheart, I need you to take out the bad guys on that bridge." And then you would hear that beautiful 30 millimeter minigun just pounding the enemy on the bridge, the big Burt. And it wasn't just a Burt just for a few seconds. It was a good solid 20 seconds, and you knew it. You knew it was American victory right there. Just beautiful. And it was, like I said, he was like a conductor at an orchestra, the Maestro, basically playing out this battle to perfection. And that's what it was. I just sat there and go, wow, this is just really cool to be a part of this here. In front of me, Bradley's pounding the wood line. Behind me, M1 tanks taking shots into the different structures that were around the bridge. Simply beautiful. And I want to talk a little bit about today, about a far superior conductor in the sense of the conductor of all things. And that's why I put Maestro down on the the title here, the conductor of our lives, so to speak, in the big symphony of life as we go through it. Now, I want to take the story I want to hit today is from Genesis 37, and it goes through 50, folks. It's a serious story. Don't worry. We're not going to read it all, but it's the story of Joseph. All right, and if you have ever read this story or paid any attention to it. Now, first of all, when you think about Joseph, the first thing that comes to mind, because when you were a kid, he's the guy who got the designer jacket from his dad, you know, the multicolored jacket. And you know, I don't know what was going on. Jacob was out at Costco one day, saw a cool jacket. It was real colorful. Hey, Joseph will really love this. Gets his son this jacket. And that's the whole cause of what begins this drama that unfolds in these last chapters of Genesis. Because when the other sons see that Joseph got this really, really cool designer jacket, they were jealous. Of course, that led to them being mean to him. And, you know, it's a brother thing, I guess. You know, I had sisters, so I didn't have any brothers. But a lot of people who have had older brothers can tell me that it's not always the most cheerful childhood growing up, having to deal with them. So Joseph, a lot of drama with his brothers there, is so much so that they're so jealous and upset at this gift that was given. They beat him up, they throw him in a pit. They feel bad about the pit maybe, or they get called on it. Yeah, because basically Jacob's like, hey, where's Joseph? Where's he at? And then oh crap, we have to fix this. They don't really fix it though. They actually sell him to a trade caravan going by to Egypt. And then Joseph finds himself actually being sold to one of Pharaoh's chief administrators. And the drama continues. He becomes the chief steward of the household there. He's running things, you know, kind of like the main butler guy, okay? So he's just running the household there. And then this guy's wife makes a hit on him. And Joseph, being a good kid, he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. This is bad news. So basically, he gets false accused of, you know, things that weren't good, gets thrown into jail. And when he's in jail, God hasn't left him. God has actually, behind the scenes, is conducting a symphony here. He's putting things into place for a very important action that's supposed to take place in the nation of Israel. So all of this is according to the plan, and I'm sure that at times Joseph, like we are when things are just kind of stagnant or we don't know where things are going, is kind of wondering what in the world is going on. I just got tossed in jail, falsely accused and tossed into, what is going on? God, what are you doing here? So when he's in jail, get this, folks, he does so well. I don't know what you do in an ancient Egyptian prison. I've never been in one, and I don't know much about him. But he does so well that the chief jail keeper puts him in charge of all the prisoners. Hey, folks, how you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well today.
Good.
Beautiful day out here, huh?
Isn't it great?
All right, enjoy.
Thank you, too.
So, back to the story. So what happens is he's placed as the head of all the prisoners. Kind of like the honcho takes care of them. I don't know what that meant, you know, back in those days. But he's in charge of them. All right. The drama continues to unfold here, folks. Now, two of Pharaoh's primary servants, the cupbearer and the baker, they did something wrong. They get thrown at different times. They get thrown into jail. And Joseph had a gift of interpreting dreams. So he interprets dreams of both these guys, and he's actually right about the dreams. And he always says to the guys, hey, remember me when you get out there. Come on, you know, speak well of me so I can get out of this place. Well, of course, they forget. Until Pharaoh himself has a dream. And nobody can interpret it. All the wise dudes, all the ministers, all the people in his court, they have no clue what this dream means. So the cupbearer is sitting there, and the baker, they're like, hey, what about that Joseph guy? He knows stuff. So Joseph is called up from the prison, brought before Pharaoh, and throws down the interpretation to the dream, which proves to be correct. Now, this all leads to Joseph moving from, you know, the boss of all the prisoners, whatever that means, up until like second in command of all of Egypt. and he's in charge of, storing the grain, getting ready for the big famine that's coming. And he basically sets Egypt up in a position where they don't even get touched by this famine. In fact, other countries are coming to them to get grain and food and resources, including, yes, his family coming down from Canaan. Jacob and all the brothers come. And it plays out that basically Joseph here saves the family. Joseph basically saves Israel as a nation. And you can see each step was ordered by God. I mean, in order for him to get into Pharaoh's court, he had to have met the cupbearer and the baker. He had to have given them dreams, but in order to meet them, he had to have been put in the prison there. You could see each step. God was there, kind of directing this plan, so to speak. Folks, we're going to find ourselves many times in life where we're acting on plans, where God's given us, hey, I need you to do this, we set out to do this, or even in our own lives, we've got goals that we want to attain. But there's times when you just run into, like, what's going on? I mean, just circumstances may build up, just things around you may let's just say things may not look like everything's going according to the plan. And that's the beautiful thing about our Christian walks. Our Christian walks, we have God who, when we hit those spots, actually knows the big plan. He knows the full symphony. He knows every movement that's supposed to be done out there and everything that's got to come into place. All right. He knows who's supposed to be where, when, and how. And a lot of times he moves these things around behind the scenes. And we are just meant to obey God and be at the proper place at the proper time. And you will see that happen throughout your life when you put your trust in him. Now, Proverbs speaks directly to this. And I'm going with Proverbs 16 here, 16:9. The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Folks, that's mighty. That is so mighty. You've got to understand how this plays out. Folks, I know in my spiritual life here, we were called the Prescott. We got this little church, get it going, get things happening. And then there were other little things behind the scene, little things like, different ministries we want to do. I mean, this is one of the ministries that came out of it, is Walk Like Lions. One of the things we want to put into place is a good veterans program, a veterans fellowship, so to speak. Not just veterans, first responders, firefighters, law enforcement. We want to get these guys together, but we don't want it to be one of those groups where everybody just complains about the government or the war they were in or how sad their story is. We want to be, we don't want people to be victims. We want to be people to take action and actually do things with what they've experienced in life. Actually take pride in what they did for their country. So you got to understand that very important ministry here. We don't know where it's going, but things behind the scenes seem to be just fitting into place with connections that are made. And I never thought I would be where I am today with the job that I do right now and with the ministry. Because there were times where I'm like, God, what are you doing? Why am I working down here at a nursing home? Why am I over here? But God, again, is directing things behind the scenes. He's orchestrating that symphony and basically kind of moving each piece to where it needs to be, so that his plan and this ultimate ministry plan can go into action. And it's just phenomenal how the good Lord works. He brings people into your life sometimes that you would have encountered if you had been, over in a different area. And he brings the people together, they connect, they move on to phase 2, or they move on to the next stage or the next movement of this piece. So I want to encourage you today, put trust in God. You really got to do that. Yes, you can have a plan. I mean, that's what God tells us. Make these plans. But there's going to be times in that plan where things are like, wow, what's going on, Lord? And that's when you have to kind of step back and say, all right, Lord, do it. Do it. Put those pieces together. Connect it. And then he's going to look down and say, all right, I want you to go here. I want you to do this. And that's where you have to salute, say, Roger that, sir. I got it. And move out. Execute. These are critical principles for our spiritual walk. And there's critical principles in life in general. And the beautiful thing about being a Christian is you have access to that. God is working in your life. You don't have to worry about just running on the fly, making things up as you go, which sometimes happens even in the Christian world. But understand this beautiful blessing and just this awesomeness of having God in our lives and giving our all to God and our trust to Him, and just dying to self, basically what it comes. It says, Lord, use me for your purposes. All right, folks, great talk today. I know we had some people walk by, which was pretty cool. That was unexpected, right? Who knows where that's going? Typical planes flying over. These little ROTC cadets are, pilots learning how to fly. Yeah, he's learning how to fly, all right. So, but thanks for hanging in there with us, folks. It's good to be out here on the move, doing Walk Like Lions. Trust God. Put Him first in your lives, folks. And like we say, as we always finish here, walk like lions.